This is TWiT.
And I know you'll have something to say about this one, Leo. During yesterday's Worldwide Developer Conference, or the kickoff, Apple introduced their forthcoming Passwords app. Now, of course, Apple users have long been using their iCloud account to store and sync their passwords among their devices. But what was going on wasn't super transparent.
No.
It just worked, but without a clear and clean UI. It was necessary to dig down into the control app to locate a sub page. So the Passwords app that will be included in the next major release of their OSs, so that would be iOS 18, Mac OS Sequoia, and Vision OS 2, will provide a UI for Apple's storage of this information. Now, since this is not ever going to be a cross-ecosystem solution, it's Apple only.
Well,
those of us,
it's Windows too.
Yeah, and I heard you say something about iCloud for Windows Password app.
Yeah.
And anyway, I'll just finish and say that those of us using Windows, Linux, or Android will likely remain with whatever cross-ecosystem solution we're using today.
Yeah.
But this move does create an explicit and native password manager for Apple OSs for the first time. And if someone is 100% pure Apple world, it likely offers everything anyone would need. It also incorporates clear passkeys management and a built-in one-time password style authenticator. Since I'm currently using OTP Auth as my one-time password authenticator of choice, I'll look at what Apple has to offer once I upgrade my iPhone to something that'll run iOS 18. I think I'm stuck back on 12 or something right now. But so Leo, I hear that you guys using the word sherlocked. Where did that come from?
So way back in the day, I think this is 20 years ago, there was an app called Sherlock that let you find files on your device. It was really good. You could, you'd make an index and you'd Sherlock and you could find anything on your hard drive. Then Apple released something it calls Spotlight. And Sherlock was out of business overnight. And so ever after, when Apple introduces a product that duplicates functionality of a third-party product and essentially puts them out of business, we call it being Sherlocked. And there were obviously 1Password, Bitwarden, and other password managers.
There's a Sherlock festival yesterday.
may have been Sherlock by this passwords, but it was just one of many, exactly, yes.
Now we've seen Microsoft do the same thing too, right? Like I was complaining that it took until Service Pack 3 for Windows XP's firewall to be enabled by default. Back at the time, remember Zone Alarm was my favorite firewall, and there was a firewall industry for Windows PCs.
Yep.
And then, Microsoft says, we're going to put a firewall in, but don't you worry, it'll be turned off by default. Well, it eventually got turned on. And I was just talking to a friend of mine the other day who was asking me if she needed to be still using McAfee. And I said, oh, Lord, no. I said, Windows built-in Defender is really all anybody needs. And I explained that Microsoft does this. They sort of create the capability, but they don't want to step on anyone's toes, so they sort of ease it into the world slowly. Microsoft, I would argue, is a little less caretaking about that. They say, now we're doing that. So anyway, again, it makes sense for this thing to get moved in. So there is, iCloud for Windows. How can you use a password manager for Apple under iCloud for Windows? Because, it's just, I thought it was just folders.
Oh, no. iCloud for Windows lets you do a lot of things, and including, I guess, now access your passwords. Actually, I think that's been around. It is not as elegant as a password manager. And remember, this is going to do passkeys.
Right.
But I don't know, and they didn't really say. I think the passkeys are hardware dependent, which means it seems unlikely passkeys would make it over to Windows. But they might do what they do now, which is show you a QR code, and then the phone that you have the passkey on, you do the QR code. So, is it going to be as full-featured as a standalone password manager? Probably not. That's often the case with these things.
And I'm multi-platform. So
yeah, well, you and I won't use it. I can't. I'm Android and Windows and Linux.
Right. Right. But again,
a lot of Apple people, and you know what? I love this because it means a lot of non-sophisticated users will just do it because it's part of the operating system. It's built in.
Yes, and I think the fact that they're showing it as a separate thing, helps to raise people's awareness of passwords and the various aspects of passwords, like passkeys and one-time passwords and so forth. It just, it brings it more to light, which has got to be a good thing.
Yeah. Hey, it's Leo Laporte. I hope you've enjoyed this little snippet from Security Now. If you want the whole show, you can get it at our website, twit.tv/SN. Of course, you can subscribe to Security Now on your favorite podcast, or just click one of the links below.